Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Know who's ready for some fighting words. In this video, I want to do a fight recap for Vasiliy Lomochenko versus Jamaine Ortiz. I think the first thing that was just blindingly obvious about this fight was the size of Jamaine Ortiz. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I just don't feel like Lomachenko is going to be that competitive moving forward in the division because he's so much smaller than the rest of these guys. And these guys are only getting younger and they're only getting bigger. And this was a prime example of what I meant. A lot of people kind of took it a certain way when I said that. It doesn't mean that Vasiliy Lomachenko isn't, a wizard in the ring. It just means that you can be a wizard all you want. If you can't impose your wizardry, it really doesn't matter. And it's looking to that point like, yeah, Vasiliy won, but he had to work for it. Now, I'm a person who believes in ring rust. And, Vasiliy being all pretty much a year from the ring, it did show. He is classically a slow starter, but it did show. He did pick it up. I felt like, I felt like he was picking it up as Jamaine Ortiz was coming down, because Jamaine Ortiz, he started kind of fast and he was throwing bombs early. And by doing that, he's depleting his power. Now, if you're going to do something like that, then you really need to rush across the ring and get to the action. You can't do something like that with like Vasiliy Lomachenko. Why? Because of his footwork and his speed. And the fact that he throws he'll do like 100 million feints and then, just bouncing around while doing it. So it's not necessarily worth it to run across. Like, if you're going to run across the ring with Vasiliy Lomachenko, be set on fully committing to the attack. Don't run across the ring and throw one at a time. That doesn't make any sense. Don't run across the ring and throw one at a time. So I get it. You wanted to set a precedent. You wanted to set the stage and let him know, listen, I'm going to be the boss tonight. I'm bigger than you. And by all means, Jamaine Ortiz was letting, Vasiliy know that he was bigger than him. And the early rounds, he was pushing Lomachenko back. And he was looking really good doing it. Jamaine Ortiz, although he did not get what he came for, which is a W, I felt like he made, I'm not going to say he made a name for himself, but he definitely made a statement. He's no pushover, and he understands the fundamentals of boxing. He was great at distance. I felt like where he fell short was, especially dealing with Lomachenko, should have been more body work. You have a much smaller guy, body work. You have a really bouncy guy, again, body work. That would have slowed him down, and that would have given you opportunities during the fight, and especially much later on in the fight. But he didn't take them, and again, maybe that's because, they had sparred and they knew each other. Or maybe it was a little too much respect in the ring. I personally believe that Jamaine Ortiz gave Lomachenko way too much respect. If you're going to be that much bigger, have that much more muscle mass, push him back. Push him back. I don't know. Push him back. That's all I got to say. Push him back. Muscle him back. Again, Lomachenko is not the biggest puncher in the world. So it doesn't really matter if he connects on you. He's going to connect on you anyway. And I'm pretty sure anybody who gets in the ring with Lomachenko is already dead set on knowing that, all right, he's going to connect. He's going to hit me. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get hit with combinations repeatedly. Okay. But again, I don't feel like Lomachenko's punches were because Loma, he cracked him a few times. He cracked Ortiz and he snapped his head back, and Ortiz just ate it every single time. That too of Lomachenko was on point, especially in the latter end of the fight. But I just don't know what Lomachenko's going to do in the future with people who have more confidence than Jamaine Ortiz. I think Jamaine Ortiz is a good little fighter. I think he has to mature. I think he has to understand his size. And I wish somebody in his corner would have been like, you do know you're bigger than that guy, right? Push him back, put him on the ropes where he can't bounce all over the place and attack his body. If he tries to get out, you push him back in. It's literally that simple. Let's take a page out of my Donna's book. Push him back into the ropes. Simple as that. And, kudos to Jamaine Ortiz for fighting the fight that he fought, but I don't think fighting your opponent's fight is going to get you victory. Now, that being said, let's talk about the end of the fight with Devin Haney. Again, I said this, and a lot of people didn't necessarily like what I had to say, but look at the size of Devin Haney in comparison to Vasiliy Lomachenko. He's huge. Haney is huge. Literally, he's a lot bigger. Look at his head and look at Lomachenko's head. Devin Haney had a much bigger head. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm sorry. Devin Haney is actually really fast. Devin Haney doesn't have a whole lot of punching power. However, when it comes to Vasiliy Lomachenko, he doesn't necessarily need to be tank, but I think he's going to have more than enough firepower to put Lomachenko down. Linares put Lomachenko down. So I think it's not going to be that hard let me say it like this. It's not going to be a hard concept to see him put Lomachenko down. I'm sorry. I just think he has more than enough pop to put Lomachenko on his bottom, and that's just that, and drop him in the ring. And I can foresee him doing it several times. Again, we look at the fight that Devin Haney had with George Kambosos. We know that he understands distance. We know that he can keep the distance. We know that he can control the distance. I think he can do that with Lomachenko as well. I really do. He's a lot bigger. He's a lot taller. A lot longer arms. He has an amazingly fast jab, and he has an amazingly accurate jab, and he also has a jab that he believes in, so he'll pump it out there the entire night, during the fight. So, again, I see that as being another problem for Vasiliy Lomachenko. I don't see it as arrogance on Devin Haney's behalf, saying, oh, I can beat Lomachenko. Look at the size of him. Not to mention, look how young Devin Haney is. I've said it before. I'll say it again. These kids grew up watching Lomachenko. Maybe they have not shared the ring with you, but they watched you enough to know your tricks. It's not going to be as effective as most people believe it's going to be. I just don't believe the tricks are going to be that effective. I really don't. I don't foresee him doing anything with Devin. I just can't see that. And I've tried to see it because I really like Lomachenko, but I can't see him outclassing Devin. I can't see him breaking the distance with Devin. And, also there was Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney were talking via Instagram and Twitter. And they basically just saying, I destroy that version of Lomachenko. Now, that's Devin Haney. You all know how high I rank Shakur Stevenson. I'll put it on record. Vasiliy Lomachenko is not going to lay a finger on Shakur Stevenson if they fight. Shakur Stevenson is going to run circles around him. And that's just that, And again, we're talking about an older Lomachenko. We're talking about a Lomachenko who's getting back in the mix. Now, granted, maybe his next fight, if it's not Devin and he can get another tune-up fight, but at this stage in his career and at his age, I don't necessarily know if that's the best thing you want to do, because if you have an opportunity to fight Devin now, you should probably go for it, because these guys are only getting better. They're only getting stronger. They're only getting more confident. You're only getting older. You're only getting older. And you don't also want to run the risk of fighting somebody and then either get clipped or get hurt during the fight. And then you don't actually have an opportunity to fight for the belts at all now. So it's a dangerous position, I feel like, Lomachenko to be in. Personally, from what I saw in the fight with Jamaine Ortiz, I feel like Lomachenko needs another fight. I feel like he needs a tune-up fight, another fight. Because I really want to gauge how he looks. Because he just had, it's been a year, he has this fight with Ortiz. Okay, you get your fight with Ortiz. Now you have another fight. That fight will determine how you really look in terms of where you are in your fighting career. That will be the fight that will determine that. We can't really take a whole lot off of the Ortiz fight because he has been gone. Now, granted, a year is not the biggest thing in the world, but still, we have to take it into consideration, but we also have to take your age in consideration, and we also have to take your size into consideration. We also have to take how long you've been doing this and how much footage we have of you into consideration. And that being said, I don't necessarily know if it's the smartest thing if I were in his camp. Obviously, if there's an opportunity to fight for all the belts and Devin Haney has all the belts, then yeah, let's go for the belts. But is that the safest thing? The smartest thing and the safest thing are two completely different things. The safest thing is have another fight, look really impressive. Whatever cobwebs are left, you shake them off, and then you fight Devin Haney. The smart thing would be, hey, we got all the belts on the table. All right, screw it. Let's go for it. That's the smart thing. So it's a catch-22 in a sense, but I don't know. The Vasiliy Lomochenko that I saw, I don't think he beats Devin Haney. I don't think he beats Devin Haney. And I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park for Devin Haney, but I will say it's going to be a walk in the park for Shakur Stevenson. Those are my thoughts. Drop your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Do you think that Vasiliy Lomachenko, after his fight with Jamaine Ortiz, that version of Lomachenko could take on and beat Devin Haney at this present moment? Or not? Drop your comments down below. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel.